Welcome to Toffee TV. Here is the match reaction. Chelsea 2, Everton 0 at Stamford Bridge today, and a disappointing defeat for the Toffees. And one of those games, I think, where it looked like Everton could play all night and wouldn't score a goal. It was one of those days it just wouldn't go in for us. The manager with the team brought back Idrissa Gana Gueye, which I think was what everyone would have thought he was going to do, really. Charlie Alcaraz dropped him down to the bench. And off we went, and sort of like an even start, really, I think. That, both teams trying to play the ball around and really get forward. And Everton were dealt a crushing blow in the opening 13 minutes when they lost Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. He's obviously been in outstanding form for us this season, and it looked like it was a hamstring strain. Now, hopefully, it's not a bad one, and he won't be missing for too long, fingers crossed, because that will be a hammer blow. He's been one of our best players this season. He's been in tremendous form, of course, and that was a massive blow to us, having to reshuffle so early in the game. And I think what he does is, and what he's brought with Jack Grealish, is that element of control when we're under pressure and obviously breaking into the box. And to lose him so early was a massive blow. Obviously, Alcaraz has done okay. Well, he's done well, Charlie. You know what you're getting from him. He likes to get forward, but isn't quite as controlled in possession as what Dewsbury-Hall is. And that was a massive blow, seeing him limp off so early in the game. And then, again, it took us a few minutes to sort of get into it. But we did carry a threat going forward. The final ball a couple of times, just not the right pass when we got into good situations. And I've said this quite a few times this season, and maybe it'll only be better players that bring it, but sometimes on the edge of their box, our decision-making's really poor. And again, at times it was today. But we went and conceded the goal, which was a really bad goal from our perspective to give away. Obviously, Cole Palmer's a real threat. He's a fantastic player. And to let him make a run the way we did for the first goal will be really disappointing. I think the manager will be furious about it, really. He's ran off Mykolenko, Michael Keane far too easily. A big gap between the pair of them. Neither of them thinks to close it, and he runs in. And when he's in with the goalkeeper, you would just expect them one outcome, and that's the outcome we got. He swept it past Jordan Pickford with consummate ease to give Chelsea the lead. And then it was a long way back. The game plan would have been stay in the game, and we were carrying a real threat at 0-0. But obviously, to have to then come from behind at a ground where for 30 games in the Premier League we haven't been able to win was always going to be a big ask. It was going to be a tough game anyway. These have got some outstanding talent. They've spent a hell of a lot of money to accumulate the squad they've got. So going behind to them was always meant it was an uphill task. But you know what? I thought Everton responded quite well. There was 5 minutes after the goal where we were a little bit shaky. We've had to get a block in. And Cole Palmer and Neto have both fired over the bar. But then after that, we got a grip of it again. And we actually have had 3 opportunities to get a goal. And we probably should have, in fact, you could even argue a Tarkowski one, that we should have got level in the game. The first one is Jake O'Brien does really well, gets in round the back and pulls it back to Illiman and Jai, who's got a clear shot at goal, and he just air shots it. Totally misses his kick, which when a ball's rolling to you, you've got a good sight of the goal, you've got to be hitting the target, and he doesn't. We then get it back and play it wide again, and O'Brien then, I think it's O'Brien or Garner, fires it across the goal. And it takes a little nick off the goalie's foot and goes between Tierno Barry's legs as he comes sliding in. Without that, he taps that in for 1-1. And it was that sort of day for Everton. Things just didn't break our way. We then had the Tarkowski chance where a free kick's come in, he's on his own, and if he can guide it back across, Barry's there for 1-1, but he doesn't. It is a more difficult one, to be fair. It kicked off the turf and he's headed it wide, but it was an opportunity. And then we go and concede the second goal. And it's, from we're on the attack and it breaks down. And they go. And they move the ball quick. It's a good move, ball in and gusto. on it. I mean, Michael Keane and James Tarkowski, the pair of them, neither of them get close enough to the space. It's cut back and Gusto knocks it in for 2-0, and it was essentially game over. Although we did have an opportunity right on half time to get a goal back with Jack Grealish. He gets in round the back brilliantly. He's got players square. I think he should just blast it at the goal, but he doesn't. He tries to lift it over Sanchez, and it's a comfortable catch for the Chelsea keeper. If he could have had a hard shot at the goal or squared it, Barry was in the 6-yard box, and I think there was another, might have been in Jai as well, but Sanchez caught it, and that was it at the break, 2-0. And what was frustrating was, while I couldn't have sat there and gone, Chelsea don't deserve to be in front, don't think they deserve to be 2 in front, but we had good opportunities to score goals and we hadn't taken them, and that's the problem with Everton. We've done brilliantly this season, make no bones about it. We would have gone above Chelsea had we won today, and I think we probably could have got as high as 3rd or 4th with a victory. But we aren't scoring enough goals. We got 3 last week, which was a bit of a novelty. But these have been presentable opportunities today, and other teams will score those chances if they get them against Chelsea, and we haven't today. And, more poor finishing really, and a little bit of misfortune, don't get me wrong, but it's cost us. And 2 down at the break was a long way to go in that second half. And we came out, and in all fairness, Chelsea controlled most of the second half, as you'd expect. They're a good side with expensive and good footballers who keep the ball well. They're always a threat. Garnacho really should have added a 3rd. Jake O'Brien, seemingly not knowing he was behind them, and he left them for dead and has put it over the bar to make it 3-0. But, we hung on in there. We've got a block in off a corner. I think it was João Pedro. Tarkowski gets an important block in to stop that going 3-0. Then we had opportunities again of our own. Jack Grealish has a header which Sanchez tips it over. Illiman and Jai then goes on a run and does everything right, really. Step over, hits it, the keeper's beaten. It hits the inside of the post and goes back to 3 Chelsea players. If it had hit the post and come out normally, Beto's got a tap in. But that's the way it went today. It went, Chelsea did have the rub of the green. Referee was garbage as well, by the way, but that's just a little byproduct. That's the way it goes. And then we had another great ball into the box, and Jack Grealish coming in at the far post. Again, if he knocks it square, we've got 2 players waiting to tap it in, and it hits the outside of his foot and somehow goes wide at the far post. And that was sort of the way Everton's day went. And on another day, we score 2 or 3 goals because we've had that many chances. Chelsea might have scored more as well, obviously, but that'll be the key takeaway, I think, that we give, from our perspective, 2 really poor goals away and avoidable goals. And we've missed big opportunities when they came. And that's sort of the way it will go unless we bring in lads who are used to putting the ball in the net. Tierney Barry didn't have a good game today. Couldn't really get into it. Beto made very little impact whatsoever when he came on. Give Chelsea a bit of credit for that. Obviously, they're defenders, but they're our centre forwards, and neither of them made any kind of impact in the game. And Jai was really quiet apart from that one run that he's at the post with. So we couldn't get our better players into the game. But again, you just keep banging back on about goals, and that's what it is. And the big moments in games, if you've got a team that can score goals, you've always got a chance in every game. And right now, it's something that will hamstring Everton unless they can solve it maybe next month. But, like I say, I think Chelsea deserved it, I think, overall. But like I say, we've had opportunities on another day. We might have scored goals, but we haven't today. Man of the match, I'd probably give it to James Garner. I think he was what we did well. He was at the heart of most of it. I thought he was probably our best player. Dibbling, there was a little cameo from him late on. Did okay when he come on. And it's disappointing, of course it is. It would have been amazing to go there and grab a smashing grab victory, but it's now 31 years and 31 Premier League matches since we won a game at Stamford Bridge, so it shouldn't really be of any surprise to anybody. And they are a good side, let's not make any bones about it. I think they're 3rd now. So We just got to dust ourselves down. Obviously, next week, the squad will be decimated again, because obviously Dewsbury Hall, I'd be amazed if he's available next week. We lose a Drissagana game, we lose Illiman and Jai as well, for the visit of the league leaders. So, brilliant, great timing, as always, with as far as Everton are concerned. But we're at home at Hill Dickinson on a Saturday night. Go and give a battling performance and see what we get out of it. Pick ourselves up. It's a defeat again. I think I said this in the week, that bar the Leeds game, which was a poor game, we've only lost games to Champions League clubs. They're the only teams that have beaten us. I know we've got another one next week, but there you go. That's it. That's all I've got to say. Chelsea 2, Everton 0. Frustrating, disappointing, but we go again next week, and hopefully we can sort of grind something out against Arsenal, get that upward motion going again. We'll lose games this season, we've said it all along. We're by far nowhere near the finished article. We need players, we need goals. We've been on a good run. It's come to a disappointing end today. Still 4 wins in the last 6 games, and we start again next week. There you go. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. See you later.